Good to go, Des.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Nicole. So, hi, everyone. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. We're really glad Career Services has the opportunity to connect with our human services students. And so, again, like Nicole said, please note this session is being recorded and will be shared with other students who might not be able to attend live. But just a quick introduction. My name is Desiree. I work with career services here at UAGC as a career coach. And so what my role is, it's to support you through every stage of the career development process as you really start thinking about how your degree connects to real world career paths. And so that can include things like exploring different roles in the field, preparing your resume, getting ready for interviews, or even just talking through what your next steps might look like after graduation. And so, of course, I'm also here with my colleague Nicole today, so I'll go ahead and let her introduce herself.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Des. So, yes, like I said, my name is Nicole. So, I'm actually the employer relations specialist with UAGC Career Services. I've been with the university now for about 4.5 years, and I also started as a career advisor and just recently transitioned over to the employer relations side of the house. So, I've worked in career services, the industry, for about 8 years. And then prior to that, I was a corporate recruiter. So, that kind of gives me the opportunity to see the hiring process from both the student and the employer side. So, in my job as an employee relations specialist, I kind of serve as that bridge between our students and alumni and then top employers nationwide. And I help to oversee employer partnerships, supporting recruiting initiatives, and really helping to align employer hiring needs with the incredible talent like you that we have here at UAGC. So, my passion is truly about kind of closing that gap between education and opportunity and then creating those meaningful connections that lead to real world career outcomes. So I'm going to go ahead and pass it back on over to Des so she can get into the good stuff of human services careers.
Yeah, awesome. Well, thank you, Nicole. So I'll just get us started. And Career Services really does offer a pretty robust set of resources, and many of them are especially helpful for students like you in human services. So what we wanted to do today is just spend time highlighting a few of those on-demand tools and resources that you already have access to. And then we're also going to talk a little bit about how they can support you. So whether you're just starting to explore careers or if you're already preparing to apply for those opportunities, so just kind of an agenda. Today we'll cover the types of careers human services degrees can lead to. Again, we'll talk about those key tools and resources that we already offer to support you. And then Nicole will also walk us through Handshake and share more about our upcoming virtual career fair. So just jumping right in to human services career paths. One thing I hear a lot from our human services majors is, I know I want to help people. I'm just not totally sure what that looks like career-wise. And so that is completely normal because this field can really take you in a lot of different directions. And so with a bachelor's degree in health and human services, what you're doing is typically preparing for those entry-level roles where you're working directly with individuals, families, and communities, and doing things like building hands-on experience in areas like coordination, advocacy, and support. And so some of the common roles that people typically move into, they include case manager. That's a really popular one to start with. Family support workers, another very popular one. We also see things like community health educator, advocate, intake coordinator, patient navigator, or even community outreach coordinator. And of course, that is absolutely not a complete list of careers, but what it does is it gives you a sense of some more of the common starting points that students begin within the industry. And so in these types of roles, what you're doing is often helping connect people with services, navigating systems, supporting those families, and working directly with your communities. And so this is where you really start to understand how different programs or agencies and support systems operate. And so you might find yourself working in places like nonprofit organizations, community-based agencies, maybe hospitals or healthcare systems, or even government settings like the Departments of Health and Human Services. And so those early professional experiences are really valuable because they help you build both the practical skills and also a clear sense of what areas of the field that interest you most. So as you gain experience in the field, you might find opportunities to move into roles with more responsibility. So that could be something like supervising staff, managing programs, or even evaluating services. As far as career titles go, some of those could be like program manager, case management supervisor, community engagement director, maybe it's a program evaluator or a grant manager. And so for those types of roles, Earning a master's in human services can really help position you for the leadership, program management, administrations, and that systems level work that you'd be doing within organizations. So, what we often see in this field is that careers are being developed step by step. So, you're starting in more of those direct service roles and then growing into the leadership or program focused positions over time. And so, one thing I do want to clarify is that our degrees at UAGC are not licensure programs. So, what they don't do is they don't prepare you for licensed careers that we hear like licensed therapist, counselor, clinical social worker. And instead, they're preparing you for those roles focused on program leadership, service coordination, administration, policy, and really that systems level impact. And for many of our students in human services, they are interested in those careers, right? So being able to support communities on a broader level and just making that impact through programs and services. But with all that said, some of you might eventually decide you're interested in those licensed careers. And again, it's titles like counselor, therapist, social worker. And I know I've already mentioned it, but I do just want to pause and really just clarify that UAGC programs, human services or otherwise, do not lead to certification or licensure in any state. So if that's something that you're considering, Career Services has a resource called the Certification Action Plan for Helping Professions. It's a worksheet. Nicole's just going to throw it up there just so you can get an idea of what it looks like. But this is really going to help you start researching those pathways to being licensed. So one thing that I think often surprises people is that licensing requirements vary by state, and even the types of licenses and levels of licenses can vary as well. So, for example, the path to becoming a counselor in Arizona might look different from the path in California or Texas. And some states might even have multiple level of licensure where others might have fewer options. So, because of that, research becomes an incredibly important part of planning ahead for a licensed career. So that's really where the action plan comes in. It's a worksheet that helps you organize that process in a clear and manageable way. And just hopefully that you can see some of the different sections, but essentially breaking it down, it'll walk you through three main steps. So first, you're going to identify the specific career you're interested in and confirm even whether a license is required. And if it is, which specific license are you needing for the career you want to pursue? Second, it will guide you into researching the license requirements in the state where you plan to work. So a lot of times I have students who know they're planning on moving, in the next couple of years. In those cases, it's either important to pause if you're not sure or make sure that you're researching the state requirements for where you are going to go because they can vary greatly. And then third, once you identify state requirements, you're going to just work backwards to understand what type of graduate program you're going to need, and then you'll really start digging in deep and exploring the programs that align with your specific state requirements. So if at any point you think a licensed career might be something you want to pursue, I definitely recommend starting that research early so that you can begin gathering the information to make an informed and a strategic decision about your next steps. And so another resource I want to highlight that Nicole just pulled up, and she'll go into where you can access this later in Handshake, but this is Pathways. And so Pathways is such a wonderful resource, and it's essentially a career development guide built specifically around your major. So what makes it especially helpful is it walks you through the entire career development process step by step. So it starts from exploring careers all the way to applying for jobs and interview jobs. And so within each section, you will find both general career guidance on that specific topic, as well as resources specifically relevant to human services students. So I'll talk you through briefly how it's structured, but you can see the first section is based on career exploration. And so this is where you can start with things like self-assessments, setting short and long-term goals, and really researching the job market. So if you're still figuring out what direction you want to go, this is a really helpful place to begin. The next section in Pathways will really focus on having you build that experience and developing your professional materials and online presence. So this includes things like working on your resume, your cover letter, your LinkedIn profile, and then also ways that you can start gaining relevant experience while you're in school. So that could be internships, volunteer work, or even community-based opportunities. Then there is a large section at the end, and that's where you're really focused on the job search, networking, interviewing. And this is where you'll find guidance on how to search for opportunities, connect with professionals in the field, and then also preparing for those interviews. You'll also find resources specific to your major. So you'll find niche job boards related to human services, and then you'll also find industry-specific resources related to areas like nonprofit work, social services, advocacy. And then this stage is also where you'll focus on tailoring your resume to specific roles you're applying for. So overall, Pathways is really just designed to guide you through the entire process. So regardless of where you're starting with your career development, whether it's in that exploration phase or you're actively applying, there are resources and guidance readily available within the Pathways. And again, there are also resources specific to human services throughout each section, and those can really help you be more intentional in how you approach your career planning. And speaking of the job search process, and I saw we are in the resume section, one thing that often comes up is people start, when they start exploring careers, is how do I present my experience on a resume, especially for roles in these helping professions? And so Career Services also has a resume module, and it is linked in the earlier parts of Pathways. I think Nicole has it pulled up, but this module walks you through how to craft a modern resume step by step. So this includes guidance on how to structure your resume, how to write strong bullets, how to highlight relevant experiences like that, those internships or the volunteer work. And then also there's examples that you can use as a model. So the part that Nicole also just showed you is there's specific examples for like a human services resume, and then you can also see resumes in similar areas, but just to get an idea of how people in the field describe their experience and also the types of skills that employers are looking for. So if you ever want personalized feedback after using that resume module to update your document, you are also welcome to submit your resume to careerservices@uagc.edu, and we'll be happy to provide that individualized guidance. And so great question we see about how to access career pathways. Perfect timing, because to help kind of bring this all together, I'm actually going to pass it on over to Nicole, who will walk you through Handshake, show you how to find these resources, as well as a little bit about the career fair. So Nicole, I am kicking it on over to you.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Des. Okay, so can everybody see my screen okay? I think I just pulled up Handshake. Thumbs up. Are we sitting good? Okay, perfect. Thank you, Des. So I just wanted to briefly talk about Handshake and what it is and basically how you can really leverage it with your job search. So the biggest thing is that I want to talk about is also our virtual career fair, and that's going to be happening this month, and it's next week actually, which is crazy. And that's going to be in Handshake as well. So I'm going to just kind of give you a general overview of virtual career fair, how to find it, what Handshake is. I'm going to show you how to access these awesome resources that Desiree was also referencing. So I did want to mention, since this is a recording, if you do see this after our virtual career fair has happened, please note that you can find our annual virtual career fair in the event section of Handshake. So like I said, the 2026 virtual career fair is taking place on Wednesday, March 25th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Pacific time. So if you have not registered already, please do. I'll show you how to do that here in a minute. And it will be hosted in our career management platform, Handshake, and that's what you see on our screen here. So this is our only virtual career fair of the year. So if you are considering attending, I strongly encourage you to do so. It is a fantastic opportunity to connect directly with employers, really from wherever you are, and start building those meaningful professional relationships. So what is Handshake? Before I kind of do a deep dive into the tour of Handshake, I kind of want to give you a rundown as to what it is. So essentially, Handshake is our virtual career center for our students and alumni, and it is the main platform where you can explore job and internship opportunities, register register for career fairs and networking events, schedule appointments with career services, and even connect directly with those employers. So I always say think of Handshake as kind of like your one-stop hub for career development. This is where you can discover those opportunities, build those connections with those recruiters, and then access those awesome resources that Des was talking about to really help support your career journey. So to access Handshake, you start by logging into My UAGC, and then once you're in the portal, you'll scroll down to the Get Connected section and open Handshake. And then that will take you directly to where you see on my screen right now, which is the homepage on Handshake. So first things first, I'm going to show you how to find that virtual career fair that's happening a week from today, which is crazy, how to register for it, and then sign up for sessions. So once you're in the homepage of your Handshake account, there is a couple different ways you can find the virtual career fair. You could simply scroll down on your homepage and you will see a section called Upcoming Career Fairs is housed here. Or if you go to Events and you select career fairs at your school, you will see the University of Arizona Global Campus 2026 Virtual Career Fair. You'll want to go ahead and select that, and this will give you all of the information necessary that you need to know about what the event is, how to best prep for it, the employers that are attending. The biggest thing with this is you have to register for the event, and to do so, you just go right up here and hit this blue button. And then once you register, you can just kind of fill out the information needed. It's going to ask you, is this your first virtual career fair? What brings you to the career fair? How'd you hear about it? Acknowledge. Finish that step. And then you have to, the biggest thing is, this is the biggest thing we're always telling students with the virtual career fair. Once you register for the event, you are not done yet. So after registering, you also must sign up for those individual group sessions or one-on-one sessions with employers. And those session signups are actually what reserve that spot to speak directly with the recruiter. So simply registering for this fair does not automatically enroll you in those conversations. So you want to make sure to take that extra step. And how you take that extra step is you can go ahead and scroll down here and select available sessions. And then you'll see all of the available sessions with the incredible 25 employers that we have attending our virtual career fair. So as you can see, Easter Seals of Southern California, that's a great company for our health and human services students. You can schedule a one-on-one session with them. You simply would click on here, and then you will see all the available times with the recruiters. And you can go ahead and select whatever time works best for you and hit that confirm button. Now, since we are here in the employers section of Handshake for virtual career fair, I did just want to kind of show you the employers that are going to be attending this awesome event. So as you can see, we have Easter Seals of Southern California, Mayo Clinic's a great institution, Basis Charter Schools, T-Mobile, Cintas Corporation, California Department of Parks and Rec, State Farm, U-Haul, and then the other ones on this page, Sherwin-Williams Company, Wounded Warrior Project, Northwestern Mutual, Lucid Motors, Texas Department of Family and Protective Services, Great Hearts Academies. So these are all really great employers. And I just wanted to mention too, with that health and human services background, that really helps to prepare you with many transferable skills that employers are actively seeking. So skills like client advocacy, communication, empathy, crisis management, problem solving, cultural competence, collaboration. These kinds of skill sets really translate well into roles in healthcare systems, social services agencies, nonprofit organizations, all of those organizations that Desiree was referring to earlier. So if you are planning on attending the virtual career fair or really any networking event that you can actually find here in Handshake, don't hesitate to highlight those skills and share examples of how you've helped to support individuals, families, communities. Employers are looking for candidates who can build that trust, navigate complex situations, and then help to provide people with access to the resources that they need. So I'm going to shift gears now. We're going to kind of go away from virtual career fair, and I'm going to talk to you about collections. So another amazing resource in Handshake. So what are collections? Collections are actually curated groups of opportunities and resources that we in Career Services have actually put together to make it easier for you to find roles that specifically align with your specific interests and career goals. So how you find collections in Handshake, you're going to navigate over to Career Center, and then you can select collections. And as you can see, we have a lot of different collections here that you can really get to exploring. And this is a really great opportunity for you to kind of see what's out there within the different industries. It's a great tool for career exploration. So there is a couple that could be really relevant to our health and human services students. There's health career opportunities, excuse me. So a lot of these are roles that are specific to like healthcare, public health. So these are all roles that you can look into that might be in alignment with what you're looking for. However, the other one that I wanted to briefly touch on as well, and it is relevant to the virtual career fair, is the 2026 career fair opportunities. So there are 385 jobs in this collection alone that highlight all of the roles that are open with all of the employers that are attending our virtual career fair. So if you are going to be attending that virtual career fair, this is a great way to do some research ahead of time to see what roles are of interest to you. You can best prep for those conversations to engage with those recruiters. So using collections, ultimately, it kind of helps you to quickly identify opportunities that align with your field and make the most of your time exploring Handshake. Now, I'm going to shift gears again. And the biggest thing that we talk to students about when it comes to Handshake is how do you find jobs, especially jobs that might be relevant to health and human services roles. So going over to this panel over here, you select jobs. And it's going to be pretty similar to what you do use with like Indeed, Glassdoor, what have you. But the really interesting thing about Handshake, and this is something I'm always telling our students and grads, is what you put into the platform is ultimately what you're going to get out of it. It's a very targeted resource. So the more information you put into your profile on Handshake, your career interest section, and I'll show you that here in a minute, that's how these jobs are going to be specifically targeted to your career goals. And those are going to populate on your homepage. And in fact, the more your profile is filled out, you're 5 times more likely to get outreach to by a recruiter, which is really awesome. So shifting gears into how to search for jobs in Handshake. So what I typically recommend doing is using the search bar and typing in keywords. So keywords like what Desiree was talking about earlier. Maybe it's case manager, program coordinator, community outreach, social services. These keywords really help surface roles that align with health and human services career paths. So say, for example, I'm looking for case manager roles. You just type in case manager, hit enter, and it will populate a list of over 4,200 jobs found for case manager roles alone. Now, you're not done yet because you want to kind of narrow that down based on where you're located if you're looking for remote roles. So you always want to check out this filters feature on this side over here. And you could filter it down by employment type if you're looking for full-time, part-time, job type, whether it's a full-time job, internship, experiential learning. If you're looking for remote work, we have a lot of students interested in remote opportunities. You could filter it down by your major, your degree level, any kind of specific employer you're wanting to connect with or find a job associated with. For today's purposes, I'm going to go ahead and select remote, and then you just hit apply, and then it will re-alter the list that you initially had typed in. So there's 643 case manager remote jobs in Handshake. So if you're wanting to apply to a job in Handshake, all you do is you click on the title, Client Advocate Specialist with Safe Horizon, and it will pull it up in a separate page and it will show you the job description. It will tell you what the pay is at a glance. It will show you the responsibilities, the qualifications, the required skills, what they're looking for specifically so that you can help to tailor your resources accordingly, what the job offers, about the employer itself, and then even similar roles. So again, if you're still not really unsure, you're not sure of where you want to go with that health and human services degree, even just looking at the jobs in Handshake can help to get you that clarity that you might need as well. And then the other thing that's really cool about Handshake is you can find alumni in similar roles, and then you can follow them and be notified when they're trying to get connected with you, which is amazing. I really would suggest like using those filters features in Handshake because it really helps you to focus in on the opportunities that best match your interest, experience level, and career goals. And this really makes your job search more targeted and efficient, especially in today's competitive job market. And it's also a really good idea to review the job descriptions carefully so you can identify the skills and qualifications that employers are looking for and then tailor those resumes, those cover letters that Desiree was talking about earlier. Now, the other thing I wanted to briefly talk about is you can also find employers and connect with employers in Handshake, which is amazing. So say, for example, you wanted to connect with Safe Horizon here. You can simply click on Safe Horizon. It will take you to their employer page. Otherwise, what you can do, and it already shifted over to the employer section, you could just click on employers and then type in Health and Human Services employers, or type in the name of a company that you're interested in. The really cool thing about this is you can get an idea as to who this company is. So you get an idea as to who is Safe Horizon, what are some of the jobs that are in Handshake that they're hiring for. And then the coolest feature, in my opinion, and this is what's going to make you stand out in today's competitive job market, are the recruiters that you can directly connect with. So you can actually follow Jen Anderson, who is a talent acquisition specialist at Safe Horizon, and directly message her as well. And that's also going to help you to stand out in today's competitive job market so that you're not just another number in the applicant tracking system. The other thing I would always recommend doing with the employer page as well is click that follow button, because as soon as you select that follow button, as soon as Safe Horizon posts a new job or an event, you're going to get notified about that. So you want to kind of get into the employers page on Handshake and explore the employers that might be of interest to you. I'm going to shift gears again. I know I'm covering a lot of information. And like I said, we are going to be sending you over this recording at the end so you can rewatch it and refamiliarize yourself with this awesome resource. So the career interest section is going to go back to what I was saying earlier about what you put into Handshake is what you're going to get out of it. So to find the career interest section, you're going to go up to your profile and scroll down to career interests. Now, you're going to see a lot of me putting in like financial analysis, accounting. I was the financial and accounting career coach. So that's why you're going to see that. And you're going to see a lot of financial analyst roles that are going to populate on my homepage. But you can tailor it to health and human services as well. So the career interest section is going to ask you questions like, what type of position are you looking for? What options are you considering after graduation? How can Handshake help you? You could type in the roles that you're interested in learning more about, where you're interested in living or where you are living if you want to stay where you're at. And then the cool thing is it talks about the different industries that you're interested in, but within each of those industries are the different sectors of those industries, which is awesome. So this is also another great resource for you to really kind of explore different career options as well. And then the types of jobs or job functions that are of interest to you, and then also when you graduate, because timing also matters too. And then once you hit that save button, if you go back to the homepage, you're going to see just how targeted Handshake really is based off of the financial analysis rules, the accounting roles that I put in. Omaha, Nebraska is what I specified. And here is where all of those opportunities are going to populate that are specific to you. So that's what's really cool about Handshake. Like I said, what you put into it is truly what you're going to get out of it. And then last but not least, again, kind of shifting gears, I'm going to show you how to access that amazing Handshake resource library that Desiree was referencing to, where you can access that pathways that she was talking about as well. So if you go over to the Career Center and go to resources, this is where all of those on-demand resources are available for you to have access to 24/7. So we have our commencement career fair checklist, military career track, career titles and occupations that align with UAGC majors. What can I do with this major? Building and optimizing a modern resume. There's that resume module Des was referencing earlier. Candid Career is amazing. I did want to just briefly stop here and talk about Candid Career, because if you're kind of trying to figure out like what you want to do with your degree in health and human services, it's basically an online platform designed to help health and human services students explore and prepare for careers in their field. And it offers video interviews with professionals, career insights, practical guidance on day-to-day responsibilities, skills needed, career paths. And so this is a really great tool for you to kind of explore if you're really starting to get an idea as to like, what can I do with health and human services? So I know we have talked a lot today. We've covered a lot of information, with Handshake and then with all the amazing resources that Des was referencing. But really, these are just amazing resources to assist you with your career journey and help you to set yourself up for success long term with your career goals. And so definitely get into Handshake if you haven't done so already. Check it out. It will answer a lot of your preliminary career questions that you probably have as well as you're kind of trying to navigate what's next for you. So I'm going to stop my share and pass it on over to Des so we can kind of wrap everything up.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you, Nicole. I always love when we get the opportunity to do this deep dive with students and show them Handshake, because I don't think a lot of people realize just how much actually lives in Handshake. So that was wonderful. Thank you so much for showing all of that to us. And really, the main takeaway I want to leave with everybody today is that you really do already have access to a wide range of those on-demand career services resources, and those can help you at any stage of your career development process. And one thing I also wanted to mention, since the career fair is just next week, a lot of times students think like, oh, I'm a freshman, I'm a sophomore, or I'm just not ready to apply for jobs. The career fair is not only helpful to those who are in the application phase, right? You'll notice when Nicole went through the career fair, there were also group sessions held by employers, and those are amazing. If you just want to learn more about a specific organization or the type of work they do, I recommend going to the career fair and going to those group sessions. You're not required to speak one-on-one with a recruiter. You can just kind of sit back and listen and ask questions in the chat if you have them. And so I always like to share that with students, especially if you're still in career exploration, because career fairs can be a really great way for you to get all of that information that you're looking for. So realistically, whether you're exploring career paths, building experience, working on your resume, or even just preparing to apply for those roles, we just want you to know that these tools are already available to you in Handshake, and we encourage you to kind of get in there and just play around with it and see what is valuable to you based on where you're at in your career development. And so with all of that, Nicole and I want to thank you again for being here, and we just really appreciate your time today. Take care.